Hello, everybody. It's the Spice Must Flow. I'm back again. And I was going to talk today about socialists and things that they don't get. Just kind of a little short video. I've had a couple conversations in the last couple of days. One with a gentleman who was simply discussing a custody proceeding with his ex. And he said, well, she was a socialist, right? She was a socialist. My ex was a socialist. And also a woman that I know who is a socialist independently, friend of my girlfriend's. And there's something that I said to the guy that was only borne out later by this other woman. It's kind of very telling. That is, socialists do not understand that there is a limit on resources. Once you realize that socialists do not understand that there's a limit on the things that are in this on this planet, all of a sudden their philosophy makes sense. I mean, it's still totally illogical and it would not work, but you can at least understand why they believe what they believe. Okay, and now what I mean by this is, when you think about it, socialism assumes that we can take resources that are coming from one person and give it to another person, right? And that's socialism, right? Socialism assumes, let's say a person makes $1 million a year. Well, over a certain amount of money, whatever the socialist in question thinks that amount of money is, you could be able to theoretically tax somebody at 100%, and it wouldn't be a problem, right? Because you only need so much money to survive. Okay. If you were to bring up with most socialists that, oh, well, this costs a certain amount of money or that costs a certain amount of money, if it goes over something that they find comfortable to pay, right, then all of a sudden it becomes a human right and has to be paid for by society, which basically is a way of saying paid for by people that aren't me. Um, or paid for, by me, but not for the full price, along with a whole bunch of other people. Um, so this is what you have to understand. This is what I said to the gentleman who was talking about his ex-wife. She's a socialist. She'll tell you she's a socialist. That's what he says to me. And I said, yeah, you have to understand. They don't understand there's research. Well, she thinks that money. I'm like, you don't get it. You don't get it. I'm not talking about money. Money is not important in and of itself. I do not go to work, well, myself personally, I don't go to work for the money. I don't. I'm not going to say something about how I love my job and I'm going there because I love my job. That also isn't exactly true. I don't mind my job, but there are other things I wish I could do to live. And frankly, if we're up to me, I would probably just live in a house in the country somewhere and just shoot guns all day long. Okay. I mean, really, if I could have my preference in life, right? Um, but I can't. No, it isn't the money that I work for. It's what that money will obtain. When I think about certain amounts of money, I think, oh, okay, 75 cents will buy me a can of lemonade, right? I don't drink pop normally, by the way. That's why I say like lemonade or iced tea in a can. I'll do it though. Yeah, 75 cents will buy that. Okay. 3, 4, 5 grand buys me a car, right? 85 to $200,000 buys a house. Okay. I live in the middle of the country. That's why that pricing structure I just brought up works here. But no, the truth of the matter is, that's what these amounts of money represent. They represent a claim share on something that exists in this world, okay? And the reason why there's prices on things and why everything has a price tag attached to it is because resources are not unlimited. When a resource is unlimited, there is no price tag. The best example of this is air, okay? There's air, or actually I should say oxygen more accurately than air, right? There is enough oxygen in the atmosphere so that everything that has to breathe oxygen can breathe it. Everything that breathes oxygen exhales carbon dioxide. So everything that needs to take in carbon dioxide is able to get its carbon dioxide. We feed each other in a feedback loop, right? And we do it in such a way that we don't really have to pay anything for oxygen because it's so plentiful that that really isn't necessary. Think about sand, right? There's a limit to how much sand is in the world. And I know a lot of people say, well, if I want sand, I have to pay for it. I'm like, you're not really paying for the sand. What you're paying for is getting the sand in a large quantity and transporting it to you. When was the last time you were on a beach and they had a guy that was trying to control you taking a bucket of sand out of the beach? Nobody does. Nobody cares. As I said, you don't really pay. No one even pays for sand. They pay for the transport of sand. Okay? And there are a variety of things that are this nature, where the cost of the item itself isn't even really what you would pay for. Okay? And I think that's important to remember. Because most things are not sand or oxygen. Most things, especially anything that takes any sort of human effort to get, is going to have a price tag attached. Because it has to be produced by somebody. And based upon demand and rarity. You know, the demand and supply thing, right? Okay? That tells you what pricing is. Okay? And people that are really good at getting something to market are the people who get rich. People that aren't so good at getting things to market that people desire, they aren't rich. They're not going to be rich, right? So socialists don't see the world that way. That isn't how they think of it at all. To them, if they see a rich person and then they see themselves as having less, for instance, the reason why somebody is rich is because they are poor. That rich person had to have taken from them. Okay? And this is also why it is that a lot of times the socialists will destroy currency in any given place. A socialist will be like, oh, people don't have money. Well, I'll just print up more of it. Not understanding that the money doesn't actually mean anything in and of itself. The money just simply represents goods and services that exist in society. So, I don't know. That's kind of a thing. I used to be able to have this lecture, if you will, but I myself did not pick up or did not really quite understand this truth before. That it isn't just that they don't. It isn't just that they don't understand. That socialists do not understand how the economy works in terms of providing goods and services. They literally are not cognizant of it. They don't. They just don't get it. Resources are. They literally do not believe that resources are limited. They cannot they might even intellectually be able to tell you, yes, resources are limited, but they do not understand that in any practical manner whatsoever. And that's why it is that they think their systems are always going to work. So, I don't know. That's this one here. Rate those. Spice must flow. I'll come back at you again. And as always, furthermore, I consider Islam must be destroyed.